Hey, welcome back everyone to another Ready in Minutes workout. Tonight we've got a good one for all you pressing enthusiasts because everything that we're gonna do is a pressing movement. So if you're trying to focus on your arms or your pressing strength or even your technique, this one's gonna be perfect for you. Let's jump in. All right, so like I said, lots of pressing, right? We have a single arm overhead press, we have a single arm push press, a reverse Turkish get up down to the ground, 5 floor presses, followed by a Turkish get up back up to the top. So let's break each of these movements down. For your overhead press, remember that the most important thing is to press up in a straight line. When the going gets tough, you can ramp up the tension to squeeze out some more quality in your reps. The easiest way to do this is to squeeze the free hand and to squeeze the glute of the side you're pressing on. You'll notice that I may have leaned a little bit to the side. This is to help create a column as I press out. For the push press, very similar to the overhead press, you want to stay underneath the weight and have it travel in a straight line. You absolutely do not want it to go out to the side. This is going to contribute to a serious lack of control and potentially putting your shoulder at risk. Now, there are 2 ways you can bring it down from the top here. If you're getting really tired, you can drop and catch it with your knees. Let me show you again. You're going to drop the bell in a straight line and absorb the shock at the same time with a little quarter squat. The other way is to guide it back down into the rack the same way you would from an overhead press. I can tell you when the going gets tough, dropping it and catching it makes things a little easier. So if it's something you've never tried before, get a few practice reps in to see if you can figure out the movement. Again, it's as simple as dropping and absorbing the shock. For the Turkish get-up, it's a pretty long and technical lift, so I'm going to assume that you do know how to do it. If you don't, we have excellent resources in our library you can check out. But if there's one tip I can give you right now for the Turkish get-up that applies for every get-up you'll ever do, it's do not rush it. Do not, especially under fatigue, just try to get down to the bottom and back up as fast as you can. That's where accidents happen. It's been described as weighted yoga, so treat it as such. Take your time with the movements, prioritize stability in every part of the movement down to the ground and on the way back up. For the floor press, you're going to be in a Turkish get-up position because you just made your way down from one. So you're gonna have a bent leg with your loaded arm. What you can do here is keep the elbow close to your body. Don't let it flare out too far to the side or you're gonna feel yourself pulled and lose control. Keep the elbow closer to your midline. Additionally, if the going gets tough, you can brace your core and push through your heel here for a little extra power on the way up. And to finish it out, you just have to do the Turkish get up from the ground back up to the top. Keep in mind, this is where you're probably gonna be most tired from all the pressing and most tempted to rush through it. Do not do that. Remember, it is a stability movement. And safety comes first. So if you feel like you can't safely make it back up to the top with a controlled tempo, put the weight down and do it without weight. All right, now let's have some fun and do it 2 times to each side together. And now roll back onto your forearm, squash the bug, sweep on through. And for this part, you can pivot on the front leg or just out of habit, for me, pivot on the back leg lunge to the top. Down to the rack, down to the ground. Take a little break if you need to. If not, let's jump right into the other side. All right, here we go. One thing to point out is I'm doing this as a complex. If you need a break in between the lifts, put it down on the ground and take 10, 15 seconds to reset. It can be pretty tiring to do things back to back. And 3. And 5. All right, stable. Sweep on out, sit softly onto your elbow and down to the ground. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. And now roll onto the forearm, squash the bug, sweep on through. All right, and back to the rack, down to the ground. All right, that's round 1 down. Let's get after round 2. All right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And back to the rack. Now, this time I'm gonna demo catching it for all 5 reps. I'm gonna drop it, catch it with my hips. Push press again to the top, catch it. 3. And 5. Saves a lot of effort. And now let's roll back onto our forearm. Squash, sweep, hinge. And down to the ground. 1 more side left to go. Same thing here, I'm gonna catch it for all 5 reps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep it up there. Right. 4 and 5. Roll onto that forearm, squash. Sweep, hinge, pivot, and lunge. Back to the rack and down to the ground. And that's a wrap. So guys, there it is. A lot of pressing, a lot of things to play around with, and a lot of things you can refine. Whether that's trying to build up the conditioning and endurance over time to do things unbroken without taking a break, figuring out on the Turkish get-up what kind of pivot you like, or with the push press, figuring out whether you want to bring it to the rack or drop it and catch it. There's a lot of things you can play around with over time and get better at here. And these are all things that you can continuously do and refine over time. So have fun with it. Let us know how much fun you have with it. And we'll see you real soon on the next one. Stay strong.